Hello everybody and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Guapish. As always, I'm your host Tanner, and today I am joined by the deadliest warrior this side of the Mississippi, Nico.
Hey guys, I know that this podcast has a lot of episodes, but if you just stick with it, it gets really good post-time skip.
Also joining us, our very own General Jackson.
Unfortunately, I just shot myself in the foot, so I will be retiring, but, you know, you guys can carry on without me.
Fantastic. And finally joining us, our cannon fodder, Dylan.
Cannon fodders aren't supposed to say anything, they're dead, that's the joke.
Well, you're still alive when you're called cannon fodder.
The joke was
afterwards
I was dead,
you're just
Tanner.
a corpse. Okay. Well, today I'm doing a tier list, guys. We're doing a martial weapons tier list. I've got here a collection of weapons, and the framing we're going to use for this one is we're going to imagine that we have been launched into some kind of a Hunger Games scenario, and we are ranking these based on how much we personally would want to use them in some sort of a death match.
Man, do you have any finesse type weapons on this list, though? I'm not really a big martial guy.
Martial... You're messing that up, but that's okay, buddy. We'll get right into the tier list.
Sounds good.
I think it put it in alphabetical order, which is fine. So we're going to start things off with an arming sword. I got some info for us. Arming sword, it's a one-handed sword. It's about 3 feet long, weighs about 3 pounds. It's typically paired with a shield or a buckler. Also, I should describe our tiers here. So top tier is nah, I'd win, as in, if we got this weapon, we're clinching the game. Competitively viable, acceptable, I'd hurt myself, and then accidental suicide for a weapon that you think you'd accidentally kill yourself with. So... my thing with the arming sword is it heavily depends on if we're allowing a shield as well.
I was gonna ask that. Are we just assuming we get a shield with this thing? Because if not, that changes my answer widely.
I feel like you should just have the weapon we're given here.
Okay.
If that's the case...
yeah, sure. We'll say it's just the sword.
I'd put it in I'd hurt myself, honestly. Because, like, a 3-foot sword, like, come on. I don't know what else is on this list, but 3 feet on a melee weapon isn't crazy. And there's like barely a hilt.
Personally, I'm leaning more towards acceptable, because it is still a sword, and swords are just basically pretty good, in my opinion. Nico, what are you thinking?
The thing about this sword is it has some sweet-ass runes on it, and I really dig that. I feel like that surely that has to give you some sort of nice buff from some type of Norse god.
I will say the picture, we're not necessarily saying that the exact picture I use is the one. We'll say it's some sort of idealized version of this weapon.
I'm saying this is the one. This is what I'm using right here in all its glory.
Gotcha.
There's like a heavenly light shining down on everything.
Yeah.
I'd have to say this is a pretty acceptable weapon here. Dylan was kind of knocking the hilt, but it has a decent enough hilt here where it would protect your fingers from an enemy coming at you.
I mean, if it's an idealized sword, I'd probably also put it in acceptable. I guess I was just taking the sword at face value, literally.
This is just my ignorance going through because I'm not a LARPer, but I have never held an actual, sword before, and it feels like this thing would be pretty heavy, given its length. And the actual handle of it is very tiny, and I feel like you couldn't really two-hand this. I feel like I just hurt myself with it.
I mean, it's only 3 pounds.
Only 3 pounds?
That's what Tanner said.
Oh, this thing's light as shit then. Never mind. Acceptable. I thought you said it's 3 feet long.
He did.
Yeah, it's about 3 feet long and 3 pounds.
Oh, I would have expected it to be so much heavier.
They're just that good.
They gotta balance these things for weight. And I will say, one thing to keep in mind is that, the pommel is supposed to somewhat balance out the weight, so it's not like it's 3 pounds all in the blade that's, weighing you down either.
Mm-hmm.
Three pounds is nothing, bro. I could wield my cat like a sword and they weigh 3 times that.
That's a good point. And I think it makes sense to go in. This is basically just the most generic short sword imaginable, so I think it makes sense that it's in the middle tier.
Yeah.
So next up, we have got I've never said this word out loud. I'm gonna say addle-addle.
An atlatl.
In case you guys can't really tell what's going on here, what it is this piece of wood, basically, that you notch a dart in the back of, and it helps you throw the dart with more power and accuracy.
Right.
And we'll say it is paired with a dart.
I will hurt myself.
I will also hurt myself.
I will hurt myself. This is too skillful.
Yeah.
Aiming for me, dude. I played baseball, but nah.
You know, I think you guys probably are correct on saying I will hurt myself, which is kind of funny because I believe that these are believed to be like the first weapons man ever invented.
Oh.
But that's fine. We'll put them in I'd hurt myself.
Radical.
Next up, we have got the Bardiche. It is a large axe. Let's see. So these things are typically, it says here they're typically 60 to 72 inches, so 5 to 6 feet long.
Jesus.
Huh.
And they can weigh up to 8 pounds.
That's it? 8 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's because, the blade itself is the only metal thing, and the rest is just wood.
That's valid. I just, with, 5 to 6 feet, I expected something way more.
That is pretty ridiculous.
Like, that's taller than me in some cases, and weighs, like, not even 1% of my weight.
Right. I'd hope it'd weigh at least 1%, because... wait. Am I doing the math right here?
No, I did the math wrong. I meant 10%,
Okay.
whatever.
I was gonna say, I don't think you're 800 pounds. So.
Nah, yeah, that's my... Honestly, I really like the idea of... And, like, this has, like, the length advantage, You got 5 to 6 feet of, like, room. Like, what are you gonna do to that person with the arming sword, They gotta get within 3 feet. You beat them by double that. I'd put this in competitively viable, at least.
Okay.
I'd like to say that. However, this looks like a strongman weapon despite what the weight may tell you. And from my experience playing JRPGs, I'm just not a hulking enough mass of a man to hold this type of weapon. I don't think I could use it personally. I'd hurt myself, frankly.
Damn.
Okay. What do you think, Jackson?
I think this is viable because I'm just gonna fucking spin around in a circle with it really
There we
fast. And, like,
go.
what are they gonna do?
Okay.
He's got the right idea.
I'll go competitively viable. I think there's a lot of better versions of this that we'll get to later, but yeah, if we're having the short sword inacceptable, I'll definitely bump that one tier up.
Yeah, it's got the wood handle, too. That's kind of what's bringing it down.
Sure. Next up, we have just the basic battle axe. These are going to be the much shorter kinds. These are going to be 3 feet or less, and they'll weigh about 2 to 4 pounds.
Are we dual wielding these? Is that why there's 2 of them?
I'm going to say no.
I'd hurt myself.
Really?
I mean, compared to the arming sword, there's less blade involved. Like, sure, you've got the spikes, but it's just like, if it was dual wielding, it'd be a little bit different. But like, some weapons are built with defense in mind, and some aren't. This is not a weapon built with defense in mind.
I will point out, it has the metal along the side. I believe that is so you can like brace it with both your hands and potentially block things.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Plus, like, just all the angles and stuff actually would do a good job of, like, fighting against somebody that had a sword. You could fucking slide it along and even try to, like, break their posture with it.
And you can see here on the reverse side image, this little thing that looks like a toilet plunger. I believe that is meant to, like, hook into, like, a sword or a blade and help you disarm them.
Interesting.
So it's got a lot of different functions on here.
Yeah, you got the stabby bit.
But
you've
how
got
well
the
are like any of us going to be able to properly take advantage of any of those functions is a problem. For example, like that blocking technique you're talking about there. How exactly would we do that without risking our fingers being chopped off? Like, I'm assuming you kind of got like grasp around it here.
I think
I'm imagining it'd be like how you hold like a barbell, like when you're doing a bench press, where like you don't you can just have it braced against your palm with your thumb on the underside, so your fingers are kind of out of the way.
That feels like it's very easy for it to slip out of your hands. Then they could pretty easily knock it out there if you're not really grasping onto it.
See, I kind of was thinking more along the lines of if you ever like harken back to like some of those medieval like action games, like fighting games, when they go down for like, say they're coming down on a slice straight down, and since that's like pointed towards your hand, you like angle it this way as like a block, and then it goes down the handle, I guess, and then catches in that plunger, and you do that, you finish out your motion by like breaking the sword out of their hand or something. That's what I imagine how that would go, but again, that takes an insane amount of skill. Plus the blade on this thing is so tiny. Like, you have multiple options for violence here, but like the blade, look at that, come on.
You know, the more we talk about this thing, I'm with Dylan here. I'm thinking I'd hurt myself.
It's gonna, they're gonna disarm me, it's gonna fall out of my hand, the spike's gonna go straight through my foot.
I'm saying acceptable.
Oh my, Jackson's bold.
I think you guys make a good argument. I do think it's roughly on par with the arming sword for me, though, so I'm also gonna put it in acceptable.
Okay.
Next up, we have got butterfly swords. This is a dual-wielding thing.
Ooh.
It looks rather tiny.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to... Where did I put these? Where it describes how long they are. Here we go. Butterfly swords. Let's see. They're about 1 foot to 1.5 foot long.
Okay, that's about what I expected.
That's just so small.
You really gotta get up in there.
Yeah, this requires more dexterity on our behalf, unfortunately. Like, yeah, you've got the hilts and everything. You've got the little knuckle guard there. So there's that. That's protecting our hands. However, this is a 1 foot plus, whatever your reach distance is. Now, I imagine you don't want to, fully extend your arms. That's how you lose a limb. But, dual wielding does add a better aspect to this. Just because with a single-handed weapon, you're kind of having to play offense and defense, but with dual-wield weapons, you can kind of attack with one and have the other one ready on defense for the most part. But these are still 1 foot blades at the end of the day.
Once again, I'm going I'd hurt myself. This one just, the length is a big problem for me.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's kind of tough. I agree the length is a big problem. I do think that the guard that we're looking at here, it does seem like it'll sufficiently protect your hands at the very least, so it's kind of a matter of how well you can position them. And just as I was moving my arms like that to kind of mime it out, I went, oh no, I'd hurt myself, so...
Yeah. Plus, you have to think, beside, the 1 foot isn't only in regards to offense, you gotta think how much of that 1 foot blade is gonna protect the rest of your body in a fight.
Right. Okay, next up, we got a big one. The chakrams. I think they're Indian throwing discs.
Are we in Final Fantasy right now? Anyway, dude.
Lowest tier.
I love these. I love these in the sense of, fantasy weapons. However, I don't know how... I've never seen these wielded, and I can't imagine how these would be wielded.
They just don't seem practical.
I think I'd accidentally kill myself. I'm with Jackson on this one.
Yeah, accidental suicide for sure.
That one on the left there at least has a handle.
Yeah, I have noticed a theme that it seems a lot of the weapons that India came up with, I'm like, you'd kill yourself with that. What are you doing?
It's skill expression, dude. It's the ones that are harder to use that are the deadliest.
Next up, we got a classic, the Claymore.
These things are rather heavy, aren't they?
Very.
So this is going to be about 5 feet long. It says only up to 6.6 pounds.
I don't believe that for some reason.
The AI you're using is lying to you.
It could be.
I expect these to be 15 to 20 pounds, to be honest.
A heavy two-handed Scottish sword.
10 pounds at the minimum.
It could just be it's made out of a material that isn't very heavy.
I suppose. Dude, I think I speak for a lot of people. It's so hard to go wrong with the classic Claymore. I think it's just some people have to get around the whole two-handedness of it. I know, some people just don't like two-handed weapons. But you got the distance portion here. You got the length.
You know, I'll say that this is an acceptable weapon.
I see, shockingly, this is probably shocking coming from me, I'm kind of leaning towards I hurt myself, because I know, like, the way you typically use these is you rest it on one shoulder, and you just swing it from side to side, landing back at your opposite shoulder. And so, in a 1v1 fight, I think it's actually not that useful. I'm pretty sure these were supposed to be more of a crowd control weapon.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how fast you can go without, like, accidentally hurting yourself, having it land on your opposite neck. So I think I'm actually going to go I'd hurt myself here.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of two-handed weapons, for a couple reasons. That being, it requires both hands, and typically if you get injured in some way, say your hand or your arm gets injured, you're just not able to use this weapon effectively anymore. Despite it having its reach in like a pretty acceptable hilt. I'll give it acceptable though for it being a classic and hard to go wrong. Jackson?
Highest tier.
Okay. I'd say that probably lands in acceptable.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Next up, we have got a composite bow. This is the kind that the Mongols would use.
I don't know about highest tier, but it's definitely going in competitively viable for sure.
Yeah, like, I'm actually not too terrible of an archer, to be completely honest. I'll also go competitively, but you got the range aspect here. Plus with these classic bows, they don't have, like, that stupid fucking weight, or whatever these new composite bows have, or whatever they're called. And plus, like, once you've, like, learned how a bow operates, it's really easy to adjust to it. But yeah, the whole range aspect of it. Now, mind you, once that melee marauder descends on you, you're kind of fucked. But, you know, don't be stupid and hit your shots, I guess.
Yeah, just land your shots, dumbass.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jackson?
I think it's acceptable. I don't think I have the skill or the dexterity to properly wield one of these myself.
Dude.
Yeah.
You play CSGO.
That's got nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I will point out the draw weight on these is anywhere from 60 to 160 pounds.
Yeah, it takes some fucking effort.
And again, we are ranking this based on how we think we personally would perform. I'm not an amazing archer, so I'd probably go acceptable for me.
I hit a target like 3 out of 5 arrows, so I think that's pretty good. That's like 60% win rate.
I've never shot a bow in my life, but you know, I think I still have a chance.
Hey, I might not land the finishing blow, but I'll hit ya.
Alright, next up we have the crossbow.
I like how it says rapid fire.
Yeah, it was rapid fire for that arrow, which means they're shooting one like every 2 minutes.
I mean, this would just be top tier, right? This is just meant to be a simpleman's bow.
I was gonna say, this is just bow. If you thought you were, bow and arrow, just raise that a tier.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I agree.
I guess the only, hold up would be, I think loading the bolt, probably.
I don't think it'd even be that big a deal, honestly.
Well, I'm with, the whole, I've never shot a bow before. I've never seen or, had to load a crossbow, so, I have no clue what kind of force it takes to reload a crossbow, but I know it's not easy.
Right. I still think we'd have it.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, we have got the Dane axe. This is an extra long axe. These can be anywhere from 4 to 5 feet long, and they weigh up to 6 pounds.
Damn.
This is just
This one's tough for me to judge because I think Dane axes are fucking badass.
This just seems like an inferior version of that other axe that we saw, though, to me, personally. There's less blade.
Way, dude.
Yeah, I'm not even really seeing the badass aspect of it. It just looks kind of goofy being, such a long thing with a tiny axe head on the top.
Dude, it's better for, piercing and, armor shit, you know?
Yeah.
I guess so.
And, the thing is, the axe portion is only taking up, so much of the overall length of this that you'd really have to be pretty accurate with where exactly you're landing. Otherwise, you're just hitting them with a piece of wood.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jackson? I hurt myself.
I'm with Jackson here. I'm going I'd hurt myself.
Damn, that's crazy. I think you guys are grossly underestimating. I'd say competitively viable.
I just don't think I have the right spacing down for it, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have got the Dao. This is a Chinese sword. This one is about 3 feet long.
These are typically lighter than your average sword, so this is going to sound crazy, but I think this would be competitively viable, and there's not really a logical reason that would put this above the arming sword, besides the fact that these are made for, like, maybe faster combat, I guess. Did you say the weight? I don't remember.
It's 2 to 3.3 pounds.
Yeah, so these things are insanely light. There's just something like, and it's like not even a two-handed weapon. Like, it can be a two-handed weapon, but like with a weapon this light, it's just so easy to wield. Obviously, so
I'm just putting it
think,
on the same level as the arming sword.
Fair
Yeah,
enough,
I'm also
dude.
saying it's just acceptable.
I kind of think it's below the arming sword just because, like, I don't think the hilt will protect you as much, and then this is single-edged, whereas an arming sword is double-edged.
Yeah, but that single edge is so much sharper.
Perhaps. I'll guess I'll put it in acceptable as well. Then we have got the S-Talk. Let's see.
I mean, this is just like fancier claymore, right?
No, so this is a sword, it's optimized for thrusting through chainmail and gaps in plate armor, so it doesn't have much of a slashing edge at all.
Yeah.
And it is 40 to 45 inches, so like a little less than 4 feet long, and then it actually weighs 3 to 4.5 pounds, so it's a bit heavier as well.
I'd hurt myself. I feel like the purpose of a sword is to have, when you make a sword but then also limit it to puncture and not slash, when you have to add nuance to your weaponry, I think is when people start making mistakes and hurting themselves. I also think this is a French weapon. I don't know why. That's also part of it.
And you know, I have to disagree with you, Dylan. Piercing weapons are badass. I'm saying this is better than the basic ass arming sword. This is definitely a competitively viable one here.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because everyone's expecting you to just slash. They don't think you're going to come in there with the pierce, alright? They don't know you're going to stab them.
Alright, so let's say you're fighting someone with the arming sword. You go in for the stab, and then they cut your arm off.
Well, so that's the thing. The thing with the arming sword, it's a much quicker route to just go straight in for a stab than it is for them to swing around and slash, okay?
True. And also you have a reach advantage.
Yeah.
A pretty decent one at that.
I would hope so with this weapon designed to stab.
I think I'm with Nico, and I do think this is pretty strictly better than the arming sword.
Fair enough.
What do you think, Jackson?
I think it's acceptable.
Okay. So 2, 1, 1. Sure. Next up, we have got the Falchion. This is a single-edged chopping sword. It's kind of similar to a machete. And this is a little over 3 feet long and weighs anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 pounds.
A Spanish machete.
The Falchion is badass. I'm putting this one in competitively viable as well.
Okay.
It's all metal. That's so weird to look at.
It's a cool looking weapon, but like in terms of its actual effectiveness,
I mean, check it out, Jackson. Not only do you have a guard there going on, it also is wrapping around to better protect your fingers, which is sweet as hell.
I think...
dude, I'm just gonna say competitively viable just because I think it looks cool.
There we go.
I'll also say competitively viable.
Okay. I think it's probably on par with the arming sword for me, but it still lands in competitively viable. Next up, we have the Flail.
Accidental
a classic.
suicide.
Accidental suicide.
Accidental suicide. My parents have one of these. They are unwieldy. I've tried before.
I have seen too many nunchuck YouTube fail videos, dude. If there was any more level of not violence, fucking, I can't remember the word. Yeah, people are hurting themselves with nunchucks. They're gonna kill themselves with a flail. I know it.
I've literally seen Jackson use one of these before. He had one in his garage back when he lived in Mac, and he like put a big old dent in his skull trying to use it.
True.
Yeah, I think you guys are probably right. Which is funny because, like, these were very real weapons that do seem to have been reasonably popular, so...
I think it's just like most things, they just take practice.
Yeah.
And they're not very good with beginners.
I think the purpose of these weapons was to dent the armor, though, I'm pretty sure. I don't...
No, it was so they could whip around shields.
Oh.
Like, the chain would catch the shield, and that would generate a lot of centrifugal force into the person.
That does make sense. Yeah, I remember medieval weapons getting crazy. Like, eventually swords were, like, designed for more impact instead of slashing or something crazy like that, because armor got too good.
Yeah, the one we just talked about, or talked about, like, 3 weapons ago.
I mean, that one's stabbing.
Next
That's not
up,
the same.
We have the flanged mace.
What's that little star piece there is? Oh, that's just a top-down view.
Yeah, that's a top-down view of what it looks like. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to go wrong with just a big thing of metal that you can swing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, despite it not having it, like, all my other criticisms of every other weapon, I just think the simplicity of this weapon, you've got a rod with one very dense, heavy end with, like, you know, patterned edging or whatever you want to call it. It's just really hard to not do damage to somebody. Plus, it's like, how are you going to hurt yourself? Well, you can say that about any weapon, but like...
If you really wanted to, I guess you could hurt yourself with this, but I agree it's much more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're just a bunch of, like, no-talent half-wits, okay? We can't use most of these weapons to any real effect, but this one, it's just a fucking stick with a thing on the end of it. We can make it work.
Yeah, basically. I honestly would put this in competitively viable.
Yeah, I agree with competitively viable.
Yeah.
Sure.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Next up, we have a classic, the Gladius.
This is just the worst
Gladius?
sword we've seen so far.
Yeah, I don't know what the Romans were on about when they made this thing.
Dude.
Like...
Oh, it's... Okay, so I think the big problem is it's meant to be used with a shield, but as we established, we're not doing that. I think you're right that this is the worst sword, so I'd probably go... I'd hurt myself.
Yeah, I'd hurt
I've
myself.
seen some of the shields that the Romans use. It's about the same size as a sword. Yeah, I'd definitely hurt myself.
Fair enough. I think we got... What is this? Oh, a glaive.
Ooh.
Why did they have the little rings on the back of it there?
So this is about 6 feet long.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what those rings are for. I assume it has something to do with, like, catching weapons or something.
Maybe. Maybe they just look cool. That's why they put them there.
Let's see. Sword-like blade mounted on a pole, used for slashing at range. I think it's fine.
Just like any spear-esque weapon is going to be vastly superior to every other weapon on this tier list, so I'm putting it nah, I'd win.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I was gonna say, it may be bold of me to say so, but I think I'd win.
I agree. Glaives are badass.
I love glaives.
Okay. I do agree spears are pretty goated in almost all contexts.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, I'd only put it in competitively viable, but that's A-okay.
You know, I'd actually probably put in competitively viable as well. It being a spear-esque weapon helps a lot, but the fact that it's a more slashing type of weapon does hurt it.
Yeah. Next up, we have got the Gunstock Club. This is a Native American weapon. It is a club in the shape of a gunstock.
I understand why they lost. I'm putting this in... I hurt myself.
My question is, did they have these before they saw guns, or did they see the guns and then said, you know what would be really badass? If we had the part that doesn't shoot.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm having... Are you supposed to hold it at the thin end, I guess? And then...
Yeah.
Presumably.
There's a spike. Is that the primary use of the weapon, is the spike?
I think it can be either side. It says, let's see, yeah, a Native American melee weapon shaped like a rifle stock, often embedded with blades. Now, them saying shaped like a rifle stock does heavily imply to me that they saw rifles and were like, what if we use that shape?
What if maybe they... No, that would be dumb. I was gonna say, what if they took the guns, cut off the part that shot bullets, and then used the stock as a weapon?
Honestly, Dylan, I was thinking a similar thing.
Yeah, like they wouldn't have had a way of producing their own gunpowder.
Yeah.
So maybe once they ran out of that, they were like, well, we gotta do something with this.
Yeah.
They are proficient in melee weapons, but they're not proficient in ranged weapons. Dude, I think I'd hurt myself.
I'd probably hurt myself as well. A big thing with this one is it just looks rather unwieldy. It doesn't seem like it'd be the most comfortable to hold.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'd be balanced very well either.
Yeah.
You just swing and pray, I guess.
Fair enough. Next up, a classic. We've got the halberd.
Nah, I'd win.
Nah, I'd win.
Yeah, I'd win.
Anything that's a big, long pull, come on.
This one is the longest weapon so far. This one can get up to 7 feet long.
Jesus.
Halberds are goated.
It's versatile as well. Not only can you stab, you can also smash them right down. It's got that hammer-esque part, and then it's got a big old blade axe head on the other side.
Call me crazy. I'll call this competitively viable.
I do think you're crazy. Halberds are pretty notorious for being, like, the most busted weapon ever invented.
Listen, dude, it's a turnoff for me when I see something with an axe head and it's small. I want big, unruly axe heads, dude. They have to be half the size of the weapon.
Dylan loves a big head.
Oh, yeah.
The javelin.
That was going to be another I'd win. Like, not only is it a spear, it's a spear that's made for throwing.
But how good are any of us going to be at throwing this thing?
That's the great part. We don't have to throw it, though. We can just use it as a spear.
I feel like if we have somebody that's fast enough against us, then this falls apart pretty quickly. It doesn't have the offensive capabilities for CC like the other ones do.
I was gonna say, like, this is... So, like, I don't remember what the Otlotl, I think, is what it was. If we put that in accidental suicide... Here's my thought process here. We're throwing... Like, yeah, we can use it as a spear if we really want to. But if you're using this for its intended use, you're supposed to hurl this thing at a distant target. What happens if, like, you throw it and you don't have any weapons? You're just kind of fucked.
I think it's not even... Like, I agree. Spears are goated. I think this is not very good as a spear. Mostly because it was mostly intended to be thrown, and I don't think I could throw it very well.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. I'm still putting it competitively viable despite all that.
I'm just saying it's acceptable.
I'll say accidental suicide.
I'll go acceptable as well. I'm kind of... I'll be nice and say acceptable. The katana, boys.
Nah, I'd win.
Okay, now are we saying that these are like a classic katana that was actually made during the time period in which we're fighting in?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, we're gonna say these are all like you know, prime examples from the era of these weapons.
Accidental suicide.
What? Oh,
Very funny.
I get it. Nice. I was wondering why your question was important.
I mean, listen, the fact of the matter is that the Japanese just had terrible metal to work with, and as a result, all their blades were just not anywhere near as good as what we had over in Europe. Once again, I've talked about this before, and I also described it as we had in Europe back then, too. I'm not European. I don't know why I keep saying that.
You're literally Spanish.
You descended from Europeans from back in the day, so it's chill.
Yeah,
katanas are... Nowadays, katanas can be made with great solid materials and be actual, like, decent pieces. But, yeah, these old ones were very brittle. They chipped very easily. They weren't particularly strong. I'd probably hurt myself with it. I don't think it would be super effective. I mean, it'd probably get the job done, but, like, it's not the best option.
I'm just imagining me going up against someone with a different sword and then them, like, shattering it on first impact. And also, like, katanas, like, the guards on katanas, are they even made out of metal?
I'm not
Sometimes.
sure.
I don't know, but I don't
That's
think...
another piece. Is like a lot of old katanas, the handles weren't actually like super properly seated to the blade, so they just like fall apart too, given enough impact, which is always funny.
Guys, despite all of this negativity, I think I'd still win. I think katanas are one of the most goated weapons.
Dylan would be busting out some fucking kenjutsu and just fucking 1,000 sword slash those motherfuckers. He'd take it out of the sheath and pop it right back in. The blink of an eye, they'd fall to pieces.
I'm with Jackson, though, Nico. You missed it. He ripped a fat Midari Setsugeka. Shout out to all my Final Fantasy XIV samurai mains out there.
Yeah, I think the katana is quite possibly the most overhyped weapon imaginable, and I don't think I'd be able to use this effectively, so I'm gonna go I'd hurt myself.
Yeah,
I think they look pretty, but that's where they end.
Don't take my overconfidence with my hope in the weapon. I agree with you guys, given the information. I just think it's funny, and I really like katanas.
Next up, we have the Qatar. So this is like it's kind of like brass knuckles, except there's a big sword on the front.
Wouldn't it be, like, more attributed to, like, maybe a hidden blade from Assassin's Creed, except you put it on your fists?
And also, it's never hidden.
Yeah, it's the unhidden blade.
Yeah, this is not something you can sneak around with.
Dude, I think accidental suicide?
I disagree. This thing seems pretty badass. Seems fairly straightforward. You can pretty easily understand how to use this bad boy. I'm going with competitively viable.
Is this a dual-wielding one, or are we just having one of these?
I think it makes sense to say you get two.
Okay, because I definitely change. I'm going to say it's just acceptable. If it was just one, I'd say I'd probably hurt myself.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot of meat on these bones here, dude. It's just, there's hardly any weapon here.
Dude, I think I'd be able to use these pretty well. I like that they do include, like, some runoff to help, like, do some blocking on your arm.
Yeah.
I think it's competitively viable.
Am I looking... I think I have the scale wrong here. Are you, like, intended to grip those two, like, bars in the center there, and then, like, those bars on the side are supposed to go down the side of your arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you think this was being held?
I thought it was, like, a blade that was, like, just, like, here, and you, like... I don't know, I thought it was smaller.
He thought you, like, grab each side of it and just, like, try and ram someone.
Damn. You know what? Yeah, I don't know what I was imagining this weapon was. I'll put it in acceptable.
Okay.
I do like the idea of having complete control in the weapon, you know? It's attached to me, basically. Less can go wrong.
Yeah. Nico and Jackson, remind me where you guys put it?
I say competitively viable.
Fantastic. Next up, we have got the Cat's Bulger. This is another sword. What does it say? What's the unique thing about this one?
It looks fucking cool.
So this one, it's a shorter sword, about 3 feet long. A short Renaissance sword used by German mercenaries with a broad blade and iconic S-shaped guard.
I wonder why it's S-shaped.
This looks more like a showpiece than an actual weapon.
Yeah.
Who knows?
This blade looks insanely dull.
I mean, listen, you know, again, we're imagining whatever, like, the ideal version of these weapons is, you know. The guard, it's basically a short sword with a better guard. I don't know if that's enough to put it a whole rank up, though, so I think I'd go acceptable.
I'll also go acceptable.
I'm putting it competitively viable.
I was gonna say, it does just look like a sword with a fancier hilt, and that's about it.
What are you thinking, Jackson?
Acceptable.
Aye. Sounds good. We got a wacky one now, the Chris. This is a wavy dagger from Southeast Asia.
So India.
Sure. Probably.
I don't know what else Southeast would be.
This could be some, like, Filipino shit.
Yeah.
I guess
There's
so.
a lot to Southeast Asia, Dylan.
True, like Japan.
That's
Also,
an
India's like to
island.
the west.
Anyway.
I'd hurt myself. I think this thing looks fucking useless to me.
But, like, what's with the one on the left there? Is that...
That's the holster. Not the holster, that's the sheath.
That...
Or the scabbard.
Is that... Does that sword fit? That doesn't look right. I just figured it was like
It does.
a weird dual-wielding concept where it's like you got, like, some hammer or axe or whatever in one hand.
No,
You got this weird...
that's just the scabbard. You can ignore that.
Interesting. Well, why is the sword wavy?
I might hurt myself.
I'd hurt
Yeah, I'd hurt
myself, I
myself.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there is some sort of legitimacy to having wavy swords, but I don't know what it is, and I don't feel like looking it up.
Do you have a flamberge on here anywhere?
I don't. I might have one by a different name, but I don't have anything by that name.
What the fuck?
The longbow.
Nah, I'd win. This is just a sniper variation of a bow.
I do need to point out, guys, these things are minimum 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
These things also take an obscene amount of force to pull back.
Yeah.
Like, the longer that string gets, the more it's...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys convinced me. I'd hurt myself.
There's that classic story, well, it's not a story, but a little, like, historical factoid that when they dig up the skeletons of, like, longbowmen, their like, spines and ribs and shit are warped by, having to fucking do this all the time with how heavy these things are.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'd probably hurt myself.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd fuck up my arrow or something, and it'd, like, splinter and kill me somehow.
That's accidental suicide, though.
I'm gonna go I'd hurt myself as well, mostly because, like, I'm pretty sure the way you usually use this is you have to plant it so that the bottom is, like, on the ground and then draw it, and that just doesn't seem very useful in the type of scenario we've set up.
Yeah, and for those who have forgotten, our scenario is that Blake is about 5 yards away, charging at us with a blade of his own.
Oh, I did not know this context. This would have been very helpful.
Alright, we got the long sword now.
I think I'll put this in the same tier as Claymore. Wait, is this another stabby sword?
It's a two-handed European sword. It balances cutting and thrusting.
Oh.
This is the classic thing used by knights. It says it is 44 to 50 inches, so around 4 feet long. And then it says max weight is about 3.5 pounds.
That's insane. Some of these weapons are a lot lighter than I am expecting them to be. Damn, did I put Claymore? I'd put this in competitively viable, so I guess it doesn't matter where I put Claymore.
I'm also putting this in competitively viable.
I'll also say
I agree.
competitively viable.
I think it's just strictly better than short sword.
True. It is a longsword after all.
Next up, we have the Lucerne Hammer.
That doesn't look like a hammer at all.
What exactly is happening here?
It is a Swiss polearm with a hammer, a beak, and a spike, which is devastating against knights. This thing is 5 to 6 feet long.
5 to 8 feet, you said?
5 to 6.
Okay, you cut out. I mean, this is just baby's halberd, I guess. Which you guys put
It
at,
does
like,
seem
top
like
tier.
a slightly worse halberd, I agree.
But a halberd is already fucking goated, and so a worse halberd is still pretty fucking swell now, ain't it? I'm putting it in top tier, not I'd win.
I'll put it in acceptable.
I'm gonna go competitively viable. Sorry, what did you say, Jackson?
Competitively viable.
Fair enough. Next up, we have the mace. We're looking at this one right here. So earlier we did the flanged mace where it has little protrusions. This is a regular mace where it's just like a round object for, just fucking hitting shit.
Wailing on people. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put this in a different tier. They're both kind of the same weapon to me, and I think I put it in I'd win. Or I put it in competitively viable.
I think I'd go competitively viable as well.
Same.
There we go.
Sounds good. It's probably about an equal trade-off to the flanged version.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have the Macuahuitl. This is a Aztec weapon. It's like a club, but it is lined with obsidian blades.
Oh my god.
I don't know why it added this, but it says capable of decapitation despite being non-metal.
I mean, it's a big wood club that's capable
And this
of
is about
decapitating.
3 feet to a little over 3 feet long.
I think this is competitively viable.
I agree, dude. Obsidian is my favorite rock in all of existence. This is a big fucking wooden paddle. It's got some weight to it. It's only 3 feet, which I know we've discussed, like, length prior being a disadvantage. But in this case, it's really hard to go wrong, because you're either blunting the shit out of them with the wood paddle, or you're fucking eviscerating them with the obsidian. There's really hardly a lose-lose scenario here. Plus, like, it looks like some pretty thick wood, so it could probably take, like, a sword swing or two.
Absolutely, and the obsidian, it can't even be destroyed by iron either. They'll need some diamonds if they want to get through that bad boy, so I'm saying competitively viable as well.
I thought I was going to be alone in thinking this one was pretty good, but that's good to know. I do think the only weakness is, it's wood, so maybe it gets fucked up by getting hit by weapons, but yeah. I was either going to include this or, there's a similar version that I think the Maori used where they do shark teeth in it. Oh. And the point is that, the shark teeth are supposed to break when they hit you, and then it just fucks you up as you're moving around.
Damn.
That sounds awful. Jesus.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Oh my god.
Next up, we have the man catcher.
Oh, they use these in, China to, get people who have running around with knives and shit.
Oh.
Yeah, this thing is fucking crazy with how old it is, because it is an actual, spring-loaded mechanism where, they usually go for the neck, and you go in here, these are able to fold in, and then you're not able to get out, and so you're just, leashed around your neck by it.
Yeah.
How long is this?
A man catcher, this is about 5 to almost 7 feet long.
So that, rules out a majority of the weapons on our list, maybe minus, 2 or 3. My only thing here is, this is insanely good. However, if you got somebody with a better reach, you're still kind of just screwed. But, if you got yourself an arming sword and you got it against this, what the hell are they gonna do,
I think the biggest problem is, let's say, 1, you have to hit them in the neck.
Yeah.
2, okay, so you've hit the person.
Now what?
Now you wait for them to starve.
Just fucking wang them around for a bit.
You could probably snap their neck.
You just let him die of dehydration.
Man, I was gonna put this in acceptable, but the killing power on this thing probably isn't crazy high. Unless you have, some kind of...
I don't think it has any killing power at all.
You could probably find a way to strangle them. Just start climbing up a tree.
Maybe. You just start holding them down. Climbing up a tree? Are you saying, you hang them from it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How do you manage to do that?
Climbing up a tree.
Yeah, accidental suicide. This is not very good.
I don't know if I'd go that low. I'd definitely put it in and I'd hurt myself because it'd take a lot of muscle strain holding them in place,
I think I'm gonna reluctantly agree with accidental suicide just because, it can't really deal a killing blow in any way.
Yeah. Unless you, design it to be smaller than the average neck, in which case it strangles them on impact, but,
I think this is I'd hurt myself.
Okay. Well.
I'd get caught in it myself.
5 foot on the other end of the stick still somehow gets caught.
The Morning Star, a classic.
Okay, now this one is competitively viable.
Do we have a length and weight on this one?
Let's see, between 20 and 36 inches and upwards of 4.5 pounds.
Dude, these are all so much lighter than I expected.
It's typically a bit longer than either of the maces and also a bit heavier.
I mean, with weapons like this, if anything, you want more weight because that's the only goal you're trying to do is to achieve maximum force to deal a pretty critical blow. I think I agree with Nico. I'd still put this in competitively viable. This is the crown prince of that category.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
The Partisan. So this it's a spear, obviously, but the thing... So its big thing is it has a relatively broad blade, and it has protrusions along it to help with parrying and controlling it. I believe this is going to be our longest weapon. It is minimum 6 feet long and goes up to 8 feet long. It is relatively more heavy at 4.5 to 6.5 pounds.
At what point is long too long, though,
10 feet.
Well, you're taller than I am, so your counterbalance is a little different than mine.
This is still a nod win, it's a spear. Come on, let's not kid ourselves here.
But you got that little spike there on the other end, too. So you got somebody approaching from behind, you just thrust it back really quick.
You can throw it back real quick?
Yeah, throw it back real quick. Dude, I think I'll agree with Nico, actually, then. I'll put this in now I'd win.
See, my thing is, I'm not actually that confident in my personal ability to use a spear, which is why I'd go competitively viable.
I'm still saying no, I'd win, man. It's a long spear. I think it's hard to fuck it up.
That's fair enough.
Valid.
Next up, the poleaxe. Nah, I'd win. A poleaxe is basically just a halberd.
Oh, is it like a 6-foot weapon?
Yeah, this one is upwards of 6 feet, 5 to 7 pounds. A knightly weapon combining hammer, axe, and spike to fight armored foes. I don't know what the... Okay, actually, so halberds are usually about a foot longer, and they are slightly different, but they're basically the same thing. I'm going I'd win.
Put it up there.
I'll put it in competitively viable, personally.
Same, it has less aura.
It's giving less violence.
I think you're correct in saying it has less aura. Now we got the rapier.
No, I'd win. Rapiers are sweet.
Y'all are fucking retarded. I'd fucking hurt myself.
How?
Dude, somebody would hit me with their sword, this thing would bend in twain, and,
That's why you strike first. This thing is so much quicker than the average sword.
Dude, alas.
Dude, I think rapiers require a lot of skill and also don't have as much killing power as a lot of these other weapons. I might not even be in competitively viable, to be honest.
Do these things have any slashing power? Or is it all stab? I kind of thought so.
It's all stab.
It's just a fancier version of that other sword that we saw, and it's French.
I think it's worse than that other version, to be honest, just because of how much thinner and lighter the blade is.
Dude, I think I'd hurt myself.
I'm gonna go acceptable.
You guys just don't get it. In Dark Souls 3, Richard's rapier, pair that with the Leo ring, you get crazy thrust damage right there.
Damn.
We got the Sabre, classic cavalry sword that's all curved and shit.
Jackson's told me a lot about sabers. He says that they're the most powerful thing in existence and can wipe out multiverses or some shit like that. So I guess it'd probably have to go in I'd win.
Damn it, I don't get the reference. I'm gonna go with acceptable.
I think this is competitively viable. It's a big long sword with a nice guard, hard to fuck that up.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on the Sabre as well. I think I'd only go competitively viable, though.
Okay.
Next up, we have got it can't just be pronounced sex, right?
I can't see fully how it's spelled.
It's Seax. Seax? Seax? I'm just gonna call it the sex. So this is a utility blade and sidearm for Norse and Germanic peoples. It is usually less than 30 inches long. It's kind of like the most basic dagger imaginable.
If it's a sidearm, I don't think that's terrible. I think if somebody walked into battle with this as their primary weapon, I think they're fucking smoking something. If it's
obviously we're imagining, if this is, if we're heading into the cornucopia, how much are we evaluating this as, the one thing we grab?
Dude, the thing is I'm not super down on, short weapons, despite, the many arguments we've had on length being an attributing factor to winning. I think this is acceptable, to be completely honest. It's a short little knife blade, and I think the less length you have, the more you have control over it, kind of thing.
I think this is strictly worse than a Gladius. Not worse enough to go in accidental suicide, but I'm definitely putting it in I'd hurt myself.
Dylan really touched on something there that's pretty important. Women are right. Length does actually matter. And so I'm going to have to put this one in I'd hurt myself.
Damn.
I agree.
Fantastic. Next up, we have got the Tabar. So this is obviously an axe with a hammer on the back. And as you can see here, it has a dagger hidden in the hilt.
Ooh.
I kind of fuck with this thing, to be honest. I've never heard of this before.
Length and weight?
Okay, so it's 2 to 3 feet long. So it's small.
I expected this to be honest, I was hoping it was a one-handed weapon. That was going to make it better for me.
Oh, okay. And it's about 2 to 4 pounds.
Dude, it's just... the thing with axes, for me, for the most part, is it's a lot like Nico's thing with spears. I feel like, for the most part, it's hard to fuck up axes. even though we've had a couple examples of it. But, like, it's got the hidden dagger, too. Like, this is a single-handed weapon that can turn into a dual-wield weapon if you needed it to be. I think this is not a win for me, personally. Call me crazy.
Interesting. Honestly, the length hurts it quite a bit for me. I think I'm only in acceptable on this one.
I would agree with that. I think the utility of it does seem nice, but mostly it's like you can adapt to the situation a little bit better, but it's still like a short axe.
Yeah. I'm with you guys there.
Fantastic. Next up, throwing knives.
I'd kill
accidental
myself.
suicide.
Accidental suicide for sure.
I think I agree.
Dude, I can't even throw cards with accuracy. What the hell am I supposed to do with knives?
I feel like knives are probably more accurate than cards.
They have more mass to throw around, so they don't get air resistance as much.
That couldn't possibly
Yeah.
be the case.
You're probably right.
I'd be shocked if I ever killed anyone with a throwing knife.
Okay, explain, like, this act of science for me really quick. So we've seen plenty of action movies, you know, where the antagonist or, like, one of their lackeys is insanely proficient with throwing knives. What's the science between, like, surely the blade isn't the bit that hits the person every time. You gotta imagine, like, sometimes in if not, like, half the time...
It is supposed to be you get so good at it that you can reliably only hit them with the blade.
I'm just saying, I get that skill is still part of it. I can't rely on RNG to do the killing for me, dude. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Next up, the tomahawk, the classic Native American throwing axe. Lightweight throwing axe, also used in close combat. It's about 1 to 1.5 pounds, and it's usually 20 inches or less.
So Jackson and Dylan use this thing a whole lot Black Ops, so I'd assume...
Black Ops.
This thing must have a lot of killing power behind it. I'll go ahead and say competitively viable.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
dude.
the ones in Black Ops are like the modern, like, fucking metal ones, and also they instant kill, which doesn't seem very realistic. I'm gonna just say... all I'm gonna say, I heard myself. I don't think this would be particularly effective.
Dude, all I remember is that I could throw this thing, it would glow orange, it would kill like 5 zombies in one throw and just chain them together, and if there was an insta-kill on the ground, it would pick it up and bring it back to me. I think that's pretty sweet. But anyway, I actually fuck a lot with tomahawks. I understand they're not great, so I know this isn't the best, but I'll at least put it in an acceptable. I do like tomahawks a decent bit.
I think I'm probably in I'd hurt myself.
Valid. Next
up, we have got the Ulfbert. Now, here's the thing with this. I've never heard of this shit in my life. It's literally just like... It's slightly longer than a short sword, slightly shorter than a long sword. The reason it's noteworthy is they have like 170 of these things, and they're all just swords that say Ulfbert on them, which people think is some guy's name, and they have really advanced steel in them, like centuries ahead of their time. So I guess there was some guy named Ulfbert way back in the day who figured some shit out before anyone else and was making swords using that knowledge.
Dude, given that information, competitively viable.
It still just looks like a better Gladius in that case, though, and we didn't exactly put that all that high. Although, I guess, no, this one does have a hilt and shit.
A hilt. And it's longer than a short sword, so it's got that length advantage.
I'm still just gonna go ahead and say acceptable.
Valid, I guess.
I agree.
I think I'll lean towards competitively viable just since it's got like advanced steel or whatever the fuck. Next up, we have got the Arumi, which is that fucking Indian sword that is, it's a whip made out of metal.
Accidental suicide.
Accidental suicide.
Easy, dude.
This is perhaps the expected outcome.
I thought this was a whip with a knife tied to the end of it, but this is basically the same thing.
Yeah, my thing is, I don't know if these were actually ever used in battle, you know, or if they're just some weird ceremonial thing. It's hard to say.
Without being there, who's really to say?
Yeah, I agree. This is easily an accidental suicide. I imagine what I would do is I would just swing it once, accidentally catch like my leg, and then bleed out.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got the Volgi, which is a weird-ass looking axe.
It just looks like a prototype halberd.
Yeah, this is 5 to 6 feet long and 5 to 6.5 pounds. A pole weapon with a cleaver-like blade used by French infantry.
It's French, huh?
I mean, like, this thing just... It doesn't look like it would handle well at all, is my biggest problem with it.
I do think I'd hurt myself.
I'd say it's a bad spear, but a bad spear is still good enough for us, so I'll say acceptable.
Yeah, I'll agree with acceptable.
I just don't like how big that axe blade is. In regards to, like, its width.
I'm also saying acceptable.
Alright, sounds good. Here we go. The Warhammer. It is a hammer for war.
This is the most tame Warhammer I've ever seen.
These are about 3 feet long. I'm just gonna... Actually, do I think...
I think bludgeoning sucks ass this meta. I'm going, I'd hurt myself.
I think I'd also hurt myself.
Bludgeoning is pretty solid. I just don't believe I could...
Deliver the force necessary.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll put in I'd hurt myself as well.
For me, I think it's kind of just a slightly worse mace, because obviously, like, there is some amount of angling you need to do to have the right part of it hit, and also it has a wood handle instead of being all metal. So I think I'm gonna put it. I think I'm gonna put it one below the maces at acceptable.
I was gonna say, it's also, like, got less mass on it, so, which you were saying with the whole wood handle. There's just, like, you'd have to, it's more reliant on your brute strength than, just the mass.
Yeah. Where are you putting it, Dylan?
Oh, I said I'd hurt myself.
Okay. Next up, we have got the Xiphos. Or the Hephos? I don't know how that letter is pronounced in Greek.
Little baby sword.
I believe that's what this is. Let's see. A Greek leaf-bladed short sword. It is 20 to 25 inches, so it's a bit longer than, like, our straight-up daggers, but it's shorter than a short sword.
I think I'd hurt myself.
I think I'd hurt myself as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It just looks so dainty.
To be fair, it is intended to be a sidearm, so...
True.
Now we got a fun one, the Joie. I unfortunately could not find any actual examples of this thing, but here's a drawing of one.
Is it just supposed to be a weapon with a, like, metal hand or something at the end of it?
Yeah, it is a clawed Chinese weapon used to tear flesh or disarm opponents.
It kind of just looks like a back scratcher.
It does kind of just look like a back scratcher.
This may be taking it too far, but accidental suicide?
I am gonna, yeah, so it's only 2 to 3 feet long as well. It is 3 to 5 pounds. I think it's very funny, but it being funny does not help it very much.
Listen, dude, I think the fact that you couldn't find any photographical evidence to support our tier list here shows that it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go accidental suicide. I'll go I'd hurt myself.
Yeah, if it's meant to tear flesh, you go to use that thing as a back scratcher, you accidentally rip off half your back.
Tragic. Dylan said suicide, I think.
I'm also
Nico and
suicide.
Jackson. Okay.
I said I'd hurt myself.
Okay, last one, boys. It is the Zweihander.
Oh my gosh.
The classic German two-handed greatsword. Let's see, these are going to be 5 to 6 feet long. They are 5.5 to 8 pounds. A massive two-handed sword used to disrupt pike lines and cleave through formations.
I like the little spikes there, right underneath the blade, and like how long the hilt is as well.
Yeah.
This is competitively viable.
I will agree with that. This is one of the better looking swords that we've seen on this tier list for sure.
I will agree with my husband.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I think it's the best of the longest of, like, the really absurdly long swords we've seen. And yeah, so yeah, the Claymore landed in acceptable. So yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with you guys on competitively viable.
Mm-hmm.
And there you guys have it. That is our martial weapons tier list.
Yay!
our gnaw-eyed win tier being the crossbow and then 4 different kinds of halberds is appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think this makes sense.
I don't think there are any historians who can disagree with us.
Yeah, if you're one of our many historian listeners, tell us why we didn't rate the fucking the Gunstock Club correctly.
And speaking of not rating things correctly, I can't wait for us to not rate things correctly over on Guapish at the Movies.
Guapish at the Movies.
Jackson, what did we watch this week?
The Patreon pick this week, as requested by our Patreon Jay, thank you for the request, was the 1993 film Demolition Man. And if you also want to get your movie in our queue to be watched at some point, then go to guapish.com/Patreon or patreon.com/Guapish. $1 a month, get your movie in the queue and we'll get to it, just like Jay. And this is the movie about Demolition Man. Basically, it's some cop that gets frozen cryogenically. Like 25 years later in the future, I think, him and some other guy that he had caught get unfrozen because one of them's a bad guy and he starts committing nefariousness and he has to just go and get him in a society that has adapted a lot since then.
Fun fact, Wesley Snipes, who is a very legit black belt, was told to throw his punches and kicks slower because they were blurring on camera from how quick he could do it.
Holy smokes. Nico?
God damn, I was muted. That's a good fun fact, Tanner. Good job.
Fantastic.
They had a Dragon Ball scenario. Anyway, what are we rating this thing?
I'm gonna be going with an A- for this one.
Wow. I'm genuinely shocked you liked it that much.
It was a good action film. They really just don't make action movies like this anymore. They genuinely
Dude,
don't.
they
They're all
make 'em
fucking
like
garbage
this.
nowadays.
Yeah, coming off of last week's reviews, I guess I could agree.
Shockingly enough, I'm slightly below you at a B+.
Ooh.
Personally, I'm just at a flat B.
Oh, I gave this an A+, personally. I really like this movie. I love movies that utilize their practical effects as much as they can. I just think the 90s had a really good grasp on practical effects. What can I say? I mean, it's not just the 90s, but for the most part, a lot of 90s movies had a pretty good idea of it. Yeah, the acting was really good. This isn't a blow at the movie. What kind of punishment is cryogenically... Well, I guess I can kind of think of a few, but what kind of a punishment is cryogenically freezing somebody as a form of imprisonment, besides all of their loved ones being dead when they get unfrozen?
I guess that's the punishment. To be fair, they also mentioned they reprogram them while they're in there.
But it also just sounded like that was a very minor part of it, too. I mean, obviously, for our main antagonist, he was, like, 100% programmed to be, like, this fucking jack of all terrorist trades or something, and like our main guy got programmed to be a seamstress, but other than that, it didn't really seem like it was that big of a deal. But I don't know, I think this movie's fun. Quick question for the audience here, and for the audience, you know, obviously being you guys, would you guys live in this future society?
No.
I'd imagine the answer for Tanner is also no meat,
no
procreation. Yeah, that's
This is terrible. This society is terrible. What's really funny too is this leads into one of my points is that this movie is incredibly relevant today.
Yes, I know.
To an insane degree. Like the fucking cops asking an AI what they should be doing is genuinely what so many people are doing nowadays with like ChatGPT. It's fucking crazy,
dude. And
yeah.
I made that one-off comment and Tanner was confused by it when I was like, how can this movie be base and not base at the same time? It was something about... Oh, no, I can't even remember. It was like when they said like what was allowed and what wasn't allowed. It was like abortions and like all that stuff. And there's something mixed in there, but regardless, I think this movie's silly. I like how they kind of kept up the bit where it's like every time somebody swore, they got like tickets or whatever.
Yeah, they were very
slips.
consistent with that too. Like they wouldn't even like always like draw attention to it. You just like hear the buzzing in the background each time someone swore. It's very fun. That's definitely one of my favorite things about this film is just like the future setting which they create is very funny.
Yeah, it's one of the wackiest futures I've ever seen. I'm like, none of this, like they give the effort to make it seem like they're trying to make it make sense, and still you're like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. There's like the whole swearing thing, like the most popular radio station just being fucking commercial jingles from many years ago. The fact that Taco Bell or in our cut, Pizza Hut is like the only restaurant that exists anymore and shit like that.
Yeah.
The fact that the clothing of like the public drew a lot of attention, especially like the mayor and them, they're just wearing kimonos.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
I was just gonna say, all around a pretty enjoyable movie. I like how the woman, was it Sandra Bullock? I like how she was trying to relate to Demolition Man at every avenue, and she's just fucking up these lines all the time, and she's like, and I don't know, there's just so many like lines wrong, like where the part where they go back to like, oh, you want to see the room, and she's like, do you want to have sex? I'm like, that's so forward. What? I thought having babies without a sex license or something was illegal, and then she's like, yeah, we have sex via virtual reality or whatever the fuck that was. I was like, huh. And that's when I started thinking, would any of us want to live in this society? And, yeah, this sounds absolutely awful. I do believe that, there is such thing as too much control and, rules. And this movie is such a good example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This is a very funny movie. It's got pretty solid action as well. I think it's very funny they just call him the Demolition Man. That's just a hilarious nickname for a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of our leads, Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone, are very good in this. I think Wesley Snipes is he's a very fun villain. And then Sylvester Stallone, I thought he was pretty good in this. Specifically that scene where he's eating the rat burger. He just has a perfect comedic, like, blank expression where he's still chewing. And I'm like, dude, this is genuinely some of the best acting I've seen from him. And it actually got me to laugh out loud.
Yeah, he makes a very great straight man in this film.
I was gonna say, it in regards to that too, it's just like, we know it's not a rat burger, but like in that instant, you really just believe he's eating a rat burger. Like, it's so good on his face. One thing I really appreciate about these movies that I was saying earlier too is, in terms of practical effects, specifically like the cars, like they somehow made these futuristic cars and they didn't have to, like, there's no CGI. They just were like, this is what we think cars in the future would look like. And all it takes is just some, like, they just take a car, they take like not the chassis off, but they strip it down and they put whatever they want on the outside. Same with like the environment. They
honestly weren't even that far off.
Yeah, no, the cars were really, like, practically looking.
Yeah, I was looking at a lot of cars there. I'm like, that's basically what's coming out now, to be honest.
Yeah, and then there's, like, this is what, like, a future society... Like, obviously, we know they have to go to, like, locales and, like, divvy them up so they look like a futuristic society. But that's also, like I said, that's what I appreciate about these movies, because they could just pull it off. And I could look at this and I'd be like, okay, I can understand how this is a futuristic setting for this time. And it's just, like, I look at some of the new movies and they do it with CGI and it's like, yeah, the CGI is fine, but like, where did the practicality go?
I also think it's very funny, their interpretation of like their near future before he gets frozen, where it's just like, I guess the LA riots continue to get worse and worse to the point that people are literally taking over the city.
Yeah.
I did think it only helped to support the plot, so it's not necessarily a plot hole. I did think it was kind of funny that they just had a museum with loaded weaponry in it, just because nobody in the society is gonna use it, but you have this one guy who just comes along, he's like, loads a fucking medieval cannon to shoot through the door, loads up all these fucking guns and shotguns and shit, finds a futuristic laser weapon, and that was like the one part that got me. I was like, surely this weapon isn't so far in the past. And they're like, well, if they're a society that's like in their like time of peace, I guess it would make sense that they would consider this weapon history, I guess. But yeah, solid movie. I really liked. I don't really think there's too much I can complain about this movie.
My one big negative, which like, it's just kind of the nature of this film, is it's very simplistic. There is pretty much nothing underneath the surface here for you to like analyze or grasp onto. But like, again, that's not a huge complaint, just because, like, it's a sci-fi action comedy. I don't need to, be looking for allegories to the Odyssey or something in this.
Yeah.
You know, it's an action comedy. I think the biggest thing this movie has going for it, and why I thought a lot of the comedy worked, is that it's just pretty subtle with it. You guys mentioned it with the background thing going on when they curse. They just don't bring attention to a lot of the jokes they're making, which I appreciate a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, it feels like we're watching an action movie with comedy elements and not like a comedy movie with action elements, which I can appreciate. And it was just genuinely funny too. Like the main bad guy, the way he just deals with all the situations very straightforwardly, I found entertaining. I just think the interaction with like the New World and just the New World setup in general is fun and well executed. I don't have any like major negatives. I wasn't crazy about the final action scene. You guys said you liked the action scenes. I wasn't super crazy about them, to be honest. It's just, you know, it's just a stupid, dumb comedy action movie that's funny.
Yeah, the action was generally pretty good. It was like during the final act, though, is where I was starting to, it felt like it was starting to lose a bit of steam, though.
Yeah. Dude, the fact that he kicks his fucking head off at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, my gosh.
That deeply shocked me. I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that in this movie.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were just going to be like, he's frozen now. Now we'll just like reprogram him or like, I don't know, shut him away forever or something. Like maybe sequel bait there. But no, they just fucking kick his head off and explodes.
Yeah.
Good ending, though. Good ending.
Yeah, pretty solid.
The good ending.
All right, boys, we have much else to say about Demolition Man?
No.
Oh, yeah, no, I do have one thing to say. The whole subplot of there being, like, a city underneath the city, I don't understand what's stopping these people from just taking back the city. Like, the people above, they don't even know the most basic things about combat and things. They don't have weapons of really any effectiveness. And the people down there have guns, clearly. Yeah. And they know a lot more about the situation. They're more combat trained. They're more hardy. What's stopping these people? They just needed a fucking motivator, I guess?
I kind of just presume it's just there's so much fewer of them.
Yeah.
I kind of saw it as maybe they didn't want to solve their problems through violence. Like, they didn't want to have to kill people or whatever to get their way, because that would make them lower than the people that they were underneath, ironically.
Potentially. There could be any number of reasons for it. It doesn't really go explored at all, though.
Yeah. They need a sequel of this movie that shows the society falling into shambles because they killed the guy that gave them the presumable peace, and they're just gonna have to undo all the outrageous rules. That'd be a very funny
direction for the sequel. They're like, no, actually, the underground people do fuck everything up.
Anyway, I'm sticking at my B.
I'm gonna stick with my B+.
I'll chill with my A-.
And I will stick with my A+.
And it lands at an A- overall.
Damn it.
Not too shabby.
Anywho, the next movie we watched this week was Nico's pick, that being the 2004 film Napoleon Dynamite.
Alright guys, so Napoleon Dynamite is an average kid who no one understands. Kip, Grandma, and Rico are always giving him commands. But then he meets a new kid named Pedro and befriends Deb, and as they work to get Pedro elected as class president, we watch as they navigate life in their small town, and hijinks ensue.
Fun fact, the dance routine at the end of the movie was improvised to 3 different songs when they were planning it out, and then they just kept the best dance moves from each of those improvisations and then did it to a 4th unrelated song.
That's a good enough fun fact.
Radical.
Alright, so Dylan, where are you putting this one?
S-.
Pretty good. Tanner, I'm so curious about you.
So, I am the notorious Napoleon Dynamite hater. I will say, I have not watched this since high school. So it's probably been almost 10 years. And I kind of think it's a bit of an Elf situation where it was just so massively overplayed back in my childhood that I developed a resentment for it. But revisiting this was fine. I'm at a flat B.
Oh, Jackson, how about you?
I'm at a B+.
And I'm also at a B+. I like this movie. I'm very happy to hear that for the most part we're much closer than I was expecting us to be. I thought this was going to be a bit more of an all over the spectrum sort of film.
What was our favorite bit? Everyone's favorite bit?
The thing that had me like laughing along the most was the dance scene.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, it was just the fucking 30-year-old brother turning into a cholo. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. I like that a lot, too.
The way he just plays it so straight, too, is very funny to me. And, like, they don't even, like, backpedal on it at all. It just is actually something that's happening, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. For me, I definitely like the scene where Napoleon gets picked up by presumably Pedro's cousins.
I think they were his cousins.
Dylan, what about you?
I liked the bit with the marriage.
There you go. Yeah, that was a post-credit scene for you. Jackson missed out on that one.
Yeah, he walked out of the room, that motherfucker.
I'm sorry, I just don't give a shit about post-credit scenes at all.
You should.
I wasn't expecting there to be a post-credit scene, so I don't know.
I don't expect it from any of the movies that I watch either, but I darn it, I watch anyway just in case.
Yeah, so what happened was it was a marriage between Kip and his girlfriend, now wife, and Napoleon rides in on a horse that he managed to capture.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then the two ride off into the distance.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. It's a well-done comedy movie. It's very unique in its take on it, too, which is interesting. I think Napoleon's a fun character to watch on screen. He's very consistent in how he acts with things. You can kind of expect how he's going to go about certain situations, which I think is entertaining. The people around him, too, are very interesting characters. Well, Pedro's a funny guy, whatever her name, Penny, I don't remember. Deb, yeah, whatever. I don't know where the fuck I got Penny from. But, you know, they're all just fun characters. His uncle, silly, you know, it's just a unique cast of little goofballs. A movie like this would not get made nowadays.
No.
At all.
It's because it'd get canceled for being racist or something.
True. There was a good deal of casual racism being thrown around throughout it, which was funny, to be fair.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And Napoleon says the word retarded.
That's true.
Oh,
he does.
yeah, I forgot about... Yeah, definitely would not fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the humor holds up pretty well. It's pretty funny. My only major complaint with it is the pacing. I think it slows down a bit too much here and there.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you know me, I love my awkward humor, and this film is definitely full of it. The movie really doesn't have, like, any real laugh-out-loud moments, so I have no idea what the fucking trailer for this would have looked like. Typically, they try and get in those, like, more punchy jokes in them. This film doesn't have any of that, so I have no idea what they did for that, but... it does give me a very consistent feeling of like, yeah, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good time. It's a much more subdued and dry comedy than you typically expect from the era, where like a lot of the films from this era, like White Chicks and Anchorman, they're really loud and jingle keys in front of you. Napoleon Dynamite just finds the comedy in these more mundane interactions or situations that he's having with the other characters.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I appreciate it now that I'm older and a bit more experienced with movies. Like one joke specifically that I doubt I caught as a kid was the time machine. We see Napoleon using it and he gets fucking electrocuted, and then it cuts to them in the Dollar Tree, and Uncle Rico is clearly limping around because he must have been, like, held on to that fucking time machine rod for way too long.
Yeah. He just really wanted it to work.
I love adults who cling on to their childhood victories too long.
Yeah.
He had to go back, man. He had to go. Did he even have a fucking victory?
He likes to think he would have if his coach had left him in the game or something, or put him in the game. I don't remember, dude. I just think it's funny that adults have that fucking ego trip. It's my least favorite, like, trait of a person, but, you know, when it's in movies, it's pretty funny. Go on.
I think one of the things I like about this movie is that the characters just seem realistic, too, regardless of how absurd they are. Like, I feel like I've met fuckers like this in real life, which adds to it as well. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever the fuck his name is, the uncle guy, Rico. Yeah. Oh my god, man. I've met so many old dudes like him. It's actually insane. And that definitely adds a lot to it. Now, I definitely have people in, like, high school and middle school that are acting like fucking Napoleon and Kip.
Yeah.
It really adds to it. It's a very immersive feeling movie.
I like how they tried to insinuate towards the beginning of the movie that Kip was gay. And there were a lot of pointed jokes. And then it ended up he had I almost said bodaciously black woman, but I don't think that's a proper way to describe her. So I'll just say a black woman as a girlfriend. Very funny relationship. It reminded me of Tanner.
And of course, guys, the big dance number at the end was fantastic. As Tanner mentioned, that white boy got some noobs. Not noobs. That white boy got some moves, and I can definitely understand why Deb just, like, immediately forgave him after witnessing it.
Oh yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah. They didn't need any big talk or anything. She's like, okay, I forgive you. Which, like, Jackson and I argue all the time, and we don't need to get in it too much here, okay? But, like, we've come to blows on plenty of occasions. I've won maybe, like, 36% of those physical altercations. Whatever, it's not all that important. But, you know, the point is, if Jackson busted out some of those dance moves on me, I would absolutely forgive him for whatever terrible thing he did recently.
Another bit of the movie, too, is the fact of Rico is just here to fuck up people's lives, and I think you can't count on more than one hand how many times he fucked up Napoleon's life, but the dude really is just coming in and starting shit that doesn't need to happen, and then
he's
just
a
dips
menace.
out and yeah, like, god damn, like the fucking what was it? He gave those flyers to those two girls. One of which I believe is like Lizzie McGuire. She plays Lizzie McGuire, or she's like the twin to the person we know as Lizzie
her
McGuire.
sister.
Either way. Yeah, her sister. And then they just plaster those things all over his locker. It's not even his fault. It's just like, you know, his weird-ass uncle who's doing weird-ass shit. Or like when he throws the meat at Napoleon riding Pedro's bike, and then like later on in the movie, he throws a grapefruit at his van. I thought that was, pretty ironic moment and well-deserved. And he tries to kick Napoleon's ass, and then Napoleon fucking one-shots him and jumps over the fence and runs away.
Yeah.
Well...
So, guys, do we have much else to say about Napoleon Dynamite?
It's a good comedy.
Yeah, it is a good comedy.
Yeah.
I can see why they turned it into an adult animated sitcom, and then it failed horribly. It only lasted 6 episodes.
Oh.
Epic.
Alright, I'm sticking with my B+ here.
I'm sticking with my B.
I was totally joking before with my rating. I just wanted to say it out loud to see if I'd get some kind of reaction. I'll give this movie a B-.
Whoa.
That's so low.
I know your first one was a bit, but, like, that's maybe the biggest drop we've had so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as low as what my original rating of this movie was. You guys talked about it, and I was like, maybe I was being too harsh on this movie. So I started perusing my movies, and like, what would I like much rather watch and not watch over this movie?
What was your original rating gonna be?
D-.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, why?
It was insanely boring and kind of dumb.
That's maybe
Holy
the biggest
cow.
jump up we've had. Anywho, that landed at a solid B overall.
Let's go.
Whoa.
And speaking of D- tier movies, we have Tanner's pick this week, which was the 1997 film Spawn.
So Spawn, what happens in this movie, eh? A guy dies, he gets recruited by hell to like lead it or something. They bring him back to life. He is tortured by a clown and has to track down the man that killed him. His wife is fucking another man now, and then he kills the guy and the clown and saves the day, and he's homeless. The end. Fun fact, in that scene where John Leguizamo as the clown eats the worm pizza, those were real worms.
Oh no!
Oh.
God,
He threw up immediately after that.
Good fun fact. Tanner, where are you putting this one?
I'm at a D+.
Okay, Dylan, how about you?
Is a non-bit to this movie. I gave it a D-.
You know, I think I'm right there with you at a D-.
Yeah?
I'm just at a flat D myself.
It sounds like we're all... Okay, guys, really quick question, just because I need to settle an argument with somebody at work. If you were to attribute the graphics of... Not the graphics.
It's bad.
The CG...
It's terrible.
Just hold on, let me finish my... If you were to attribute the CGI to a console in our history, what would you relate it to? What console would you relate it to? I said
PS3.
Nintendo 64, PlayStation... What? Did you say PlayStation 3?
Yeah.
Bro is smoking crack. I said PlayStation 1 or Nintendo 64. My coworkers are trying to tell me PlayStation 2.
No, it's absolutely earlier than that. It's like a PS1. This is like a fucking shitty FMV game for the most part.
Fucking
Yeah, I'd probably go
right?
PlayStation 1 as well.
I think you guys are being too harsh. I think this movie looks fine. I don't know what you guys are smoking right now.
What the fuck?
Dude, no way. Especially Hell.
Yeah,
Hell
no.
looks it's and the fucking not main bad guy because he doesn't really do shit, but the big bad down in Hell. Oh my god.
Yeah, that
It
gave me
looks like
Doom
fucking
64.
Beast Wars.
Yeah, that gave me Doom 64 vibes, if I'm being completely honest.
I will say, when the clown finally turns into the Violator, I was like, why is this the only decent looking thing in this movie?
I told Jackson,
like, am I crazy? The Violator is like noticeably better CGI than everything else.
I agree. I told Jackson this when we were watching. I was like, I feel like a lot of their budget went to Spawn and this thing. Well, not that thing, but that was a thought I had afterwards. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the budget went to
Spawn.
Well, yeah, but you know, a lot more of it went to that than the CGI in Hell. I mean, the acting in this movie is okay. I don't like the antagonist. I don't like his cadence. He gets better in like the latter half of the movie. I just don't think they do a good job of exploring Spawn and his powers, but I guess this is supposed to be for people who have read his comics, which I haven't, but I know the facets of him and his powers.
What makes you say it's for people who have read the comics?
I was expecting more from this movie, and that might be a fault of my own making. But it's just like this... for like an action superhero movie, it just... nothing happens. And like, he's using guns against hell creatures, and it does nothing, and you think eventually he'd learn, he'd evolve and find something. I almost wanted to say this was like Blade, but then it very quickly descended below Blade, because the conventional means of violence were not working, and it just kind of made for a boring action sequence.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you, yeah. The other big problem is, like, the pacing. It has a lot of, like, go really fast and then slow down way slow, and go really fast and then slow down and whatnot, and I think it's way overstuffed. I think they are introducing way too many different things from the comics all at once. Like, a big example to me is the guy who is, like, a medieval knight, but he's immortal and he's also fighting hell. I'm like, why are you including this side thing at all? It doesn't even really matter all that much. I feel like they should have really limited it to just Spawn and the Violator, really.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they only thought they were getting a single movie out of this, so they were trying to pack it all into one movie. Which was this movie was only like just over an hour and a half, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's pretty short, but it feels way longer to me.
It probably could have benefited from having a little more runtime in that regard then. In the fact that it would have given them more time to, you know, pad out what they were trying to display instead of trying to shove it all together and condense it and make it a chaotic mess. They didn't explore enough of the comic is what I'm trying to say, Tanner. As much as they were trying to interpret it.
I guess it's just like what you're saying doesn't line up with what I was just talking about at all, but whatever.
This movie looked bad. I don't have a lot else to say other than that.
That's valid, dude. Jackson, please regale us on your thoughts of this movie.
This movie looked bad. I don't have a lot of thoughts other than that.
Oh my gosh.
I think there's some decent, like, goofy fun to be had here, but that's kind of it. And like, I guess I kind of appreciate it in just how late 90s it is.
Yeah. It was 97, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking wild. I look at movies like this, and then I think back to movies like The Thing, and I'm like, where do things go wrong?
Right.
It's truly astonishing how many movies I look back on The Thing, and I'm like, we have good examples of movies in history. What's going on here? And I guess it's something I just won't ever understand.
CGI and those sorts of computer animations were just the hot new thing at that time, and so they really just thought they could flex that shit and be like, ooh, look at this cool shit we can do now.
Dude, my justification for something along those lines is they were probably like, oh, you know, this is pretty equivalent to the consoles we have out right now, so maybe if we put it out there, it'll appeal to that crowd, because it looks exactly like their video games.
The gamers
I feel like that
this.
Could be a thought process.
This looks just like heavy metal. Not heavy metal, twisted metal.
Dylan, I can tell you right now that was not the thought process, because gamers and comic book fans were not numerous enough to make a movie like this profitable.
Dude, I don't know. I'm trying to justify things that don't actually matter.
They were targeting people who have never heard of this.
They did a bad job.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Well...
Okay, fellas, are we sticking with our original ranks?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I actually want to give this movie an S-.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
S for Spawn.
S for Spawn.
I'm gonna stick with my D+ as well. I guess I will say I think John Leguizamo as the clown is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's always the evil ones that are the good actors.
D!
Yay!
Holy
Wow.
smokes.
Well, and with that, Jackson and Dylan, you two get to pick some more films this week here. Dylan, what you going
What?
with?
Why didn't anybody warn me? I didn't make any preparations for this.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Dude, we're getting a Christmas movie?
Oh, there we go.
We're going with Santa Claus.
Okay.
Like with a K?
No, I don't think so.
You know, the Santa
It's
Claus.
the Santa Claus, the Tim Allen movie from 1994.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, anyways. You guys already know the drill here. What are we
Live
thinking?
action.
Animated.
All right, I think I chose Nico last time. Tanner, heads or tails?
Heads.
It is tails. Nico wins.
So, live action it is, it sounds like, that being the 2006 film Running Scared.
I can't wait.
Interesting.
It might be a good movie. Anyway, if you'd also like to get a Patreon movie suggested, just like our patron Lava Skin did, and Tanner's going to tell you we got to do that.
Did we read the
We didn't
Patreon
say what it
movie?
is yet.
Oh, yeah. The Patreon moves Christine F. Thank you, Lava Skin. Tanner, tell them all about it. They can also get their movie picked.
If you also want your movie picked, you can go on over to patreon.com/Guapish or guapish.com/Patreon and subscribe to us for only $1 a month. This will give you exclusive access to our pre-Guap show as well as early access to every episode. And you get to get into the Discord here where you can talk to us, suggest topics, you get sign coins, and you can recommend movies. And finally, you get your name read out at the end of every single episode, just like I'm going to do right meow. Thank you very much to GH, Slay by J, Blake, Nedagant, I Love Lesbians, Top Ramen Man, Bill Belichick, Sloppy Seconds, Tutbot, Lucas Ledette, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards.
Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and we'll be seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.